read from Deuteronomy, chapter 8. This was some people would say warning, but again, God encourages. This is an encouragement from God with regards to awareness of what He's done. Take heed lest you forget the Lord your God by not keeping His commandments and His ordinances and His statutes, which I command you this day, lest when you have eaten and are full and have built goodly houses and live in them, and when your herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart be lifted up, and you forget the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. Verse 17. Beware lest you say in your heart, my power and the might of my hand has gotten me this wealth. You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to get wealth, that He may confirm His covenant which He swore to your fathers, and at this day. And if you forget the Lord your God and go after other gods and serve them and worship them, I solemnly warn you this day that you shall surely perish. That warning, that encouragement to remember that God is the source of all that we have is unfortunately something that in our culture today is diminished in its understanding. So many people look at their lives, so many people look at what's going on around them, and they think, well, I've done this, or I've accomplished this, or together we can get this done, forgetting that without God we can't do anything. Everything that we do, all the abilities that we have, all the talents and skills, and yes, even the education that we've received is a blessing from God. It's not the accomplishments of mankind. That ego is something that the devil introduced a long time ago, that you can be like God. You can do this on your own. You don't need Him. And so much of our culture has turned that way, and people have forgotten. So I read that just as an introduction to what I'd like to talk about today, and that is, how do you give thanks? I put give in quotation marks. Because we're approaching what people refer to as Thanksgiving. It's something different in most people's minds. Not everybody thinks of it the same way. For some, it's just a day of feasting with family and friends. Just get people together and let's have a party. For some people, it's a day in front of the television, the Rose Bowl parade, and football games for the rest of the day. And that's what it means to them. For others, it's a day where we collect things to give to those who are less fortunate than us. It begins this time of year. It happens all through the year, but again, in our culture, we tend to pick a day to dedicate to doing what should be all year round. For some people, it actually is a day where they want to show appreciation to someone or a group of people that have blessed them, that have done something for them. And they want to show appreciation. But for some, we actually still remember what a day of Thanksgiving was meant to be, why it was declared a national holiday, why it's recorded in the Bible as something we should do. Not just a day, but in our culture, again, we pick one day, so lest we forget. It's a day set aside. Now, There's a word used in the Bible called sanctified. It's something that's been set apart. It's a day set apart as a holiday. Well, the proper understanding of the word holiday originally was holy day. Now we have holidays for all kinds of reasons, whether they're holy or not. But the day was set aside to be a holy day, sanctified, different from the rest, so that you would take the time to stop what you're doing and thank God. Thank Him for all that He has given you, all that He has done for you, all that He has blessed you with, and for all the things He's promised that are still yet to come to pass. And again, our culture tries to cram it all into one day. And then we get distracted with everything else so that we don't usually spend the day doing that anyway. But my question is, how do you give thanks? Thanks is something intangible. It's an attitude of heart. So how do you give some intangible thing? Have you ever thought about that? Most people try to give back or give forward. You've heard the phrase. It usually involves money, food, clothing, gifts, as if that's the way to express thanks. You see, thanks is an emotion that's generated as a response in us when we appreciate and have gratitude for something that we've received. When we've been blessed, we want to respond. It's a natural, God-given, God-motivated motion inside us. And as I said, many people try to do it, respond by giving physical things to someone. Others dedicate acts of service. They give their time, their effort, in a way to show appreciation for what they've received. Others try to demonstrate it by giving thanks in words or a hug. Some way to show or demonstrate that appreciation. But as I said, it's an intangible. And how you express that intangible emotion is usually expressed in our culture toward other people. But if Thanksgiving is a day dedicated to remembering and appreciating and showing gratitude to God, how do you express gratitude, thanks, and appreciation, which is intangible, to God who is a spirit and is not a tangible? Have you ever thought about that? Or do we just carry on the way we've been raised, with the traditions that we've been raised, and never consider it at all? How do we express gratitude to God? How do we demonstrate the thanks that we have in our heart for all that He's done for us? Well, you know what? That's not for me to say. That's between you and God. Philippians 2:13 tells us, I should read it. God is at work in you to desire and to act according to His good purpose. So what does God motivate you to do? In appreciation for what He's done for you. That's between you and Him. Yes, it could be acts of giving, physical things to other people. If that's what God puts in your heart to do, great. if it's simply to spend time talking with him in words of appreciation and prayer to him, that's great. Whatever it is he's working in you to do it with the enthusiasm and the thanks and the gratitude. It's not works. It's not, well, I'm going to do this to show God I love him too. Because then it's not right. The attitude is wrong. It's a response to a blessing. It's not to make him know something. He already knows your heart. God loves us. He takes care of us. He does things for us. Again, whether we recognize them or not. But he knows our heart. So take the time between now and Thanksgiving Day and spend time in conversation with him and see what he's working in your heart to do. And then do it with the enthusiasm and the love that it's properly expressed out of an attitude of heart of gratitude. Thanksgiving to God. How do we do it? How do you give thanks? Thank you. Silence. You're thinking. I can tell. I can hear the gears turning. So let's sing about it. Hymn 564. Now thank we all our God.